Welcome to the Lobby Rats podcast. Who do you have with us today?
My name is Shelley McKernan, also known as Sea Shelley. I am the Mermaid of Naples.
Can you just tell us your story?
My story.
Your story.
It all started back when? No. I have been a professional mermaid in Naples. I've lived in Naples for 18 years, and I've been a mermaid for 8 of those. And I started off just real small with a little business, promoting, working with kids, and just utilizing my talents to bring joy to birthday parties and mermaid magic. So I want to inspire humans to be the best that they can and to do a lot of fun with their life. Like, this is amazing what you guys are doing right now with your podcast. I'm so happy for you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. And where are you from?
The sea.
The sea.
Well, I tell the kids that I live west of Key Wade Island, but I've lived in 7 different states growing up, and Florida was always my most favorite. So when I had the opportunity to move here, I just took it, and
Tropical
I've
state.
been here ever since. Yeah, I need the sunshine. I need it.
What are other things on the water that you do? Do you fish too, or do you like spearfish? Or?
I free dive.
Oh,
I got my
cool.
level 1 free diving certification. So I'll go out on a friend's boat, and I've been going out like a mile and a half or 2 miles from Gordon Pass, and I dive in about 25 feet of water. And so that's been fun. I've been videotaping that as well. So I have like once a month, I have about a video of what the water looks like out in the Gulf of Mexico. So that's like my fun stuff. I like to run on the beach too. Those are my little outdoor water activities.
What got you started becoming a mermaid?
I had a friend in the aquatic art world who knew a mermaid in Hawaii. And he was like, you should really do this. And I said, I don't know about it. It seemed a little like silly to me at first. And then I went and saw her show in Jacksonville. She flew from Hawaii to Jacksonville. It was Mermaid Carriel. And I went and saw her, and I was like, I can do that. And so that's just how it started. I worked with kids growing up, coaching cheerleading and gymnastics. So that was, I always did that in high school and then after college. And did a little bit here in Naples when I first moved here, but I've always enjoyed doing those kinds of things, and I always loved being in nature. So one of the places that we lived growing up was Key West, and so when I was there, I was always in the water, swimming around, watching The Little Mermaid. So I've always been a mermaid at heart, and so for it to kind of like mold together and become a reality, it's been a fun journey so far.
Oh yeah. What's the hardest part about being a mermaid?
Keeping a smile on your face and holding your breath and pretending like it's not difficult to like look natural underwater and have water go up your nose and it hurts.
Imagine that was like a big process to build your lung capacity to be able to do that, right?
It is. It's a process. And I teach a monofin safety and certification that I've developed. I teach it at the JW Marriott. I can go to anyone's private residence. It's mostly for kids to get an introduction so that parents know it's safe for them to wear a monofin, so that there's a safety component involved, because I feel like that's a lot of when mermaids started to become more popular, monofins were causing like a ruckus in a way because kids weren't wearing them properly. They didn't know the safety protocol, what to do in an emergency. So I put together the program to teach kids that and to allow parents to feel safe or feel better that their kids have more knowledge when starting to do that, especially at a young age, like 5 and 6 years old, or years young, as I like to say.
Right.
So that's what I do, in which that program can also transition into like a teenage or an adult program and a fitness program as well. So it's That's
great. Yeah. And kind of what are your plans for the future right now? I mean, to move your mermaid activities, right?
So I keep trying to get into more resorts. I'm at the JW Marriott on Marco Island. I'm at the Hilton Naples Bay Resort Club. I've been around different residences for birthday parties and different things. So I'm trying to grow my resort my resort work to bring mermaid magic to people that are visiting our city, and so they can enjoy it and have fun. I have my classes, and I like building programs. Like, that's been one of the fun things coming out of it is my dad writes poetry, so we have poetry of sea creatures, and I recite that. I sing songs, and it's developing those programs, and the protocol is something I want to make bigger so that maybe other mermaids can follow suit and learn how to do it as well. Maybe I just create my own little merpod here in Naples or something like that.
And you're an author, correct?
Yes, so I have a book called Sea Shelley, Mermaid, and President. And it was a poem that my dad wrote, and my friend Mary Kay illustrated it, and I kind of directed the whole thing, and now I recite it at my shows. And I don't really read the book. I more or less talk about sea creatures. I talk about sign language, water, teach kids how to say different signs, shark. And we talk about picking up trash on the beach, being kind, sea creatures, and have them do a pledge as well to protect the water and the earth. So,
how do you think the state is doing on protecting the beaches, and should there be something they'd be doing different?
The state?
Yeah.
We're going to the state level.
We're going to the state level immediately, and then we'll drop it down to Collier, right?
So I'll preface this with, after Hurricane Ian, I was involved I was working with someone else, and we had many conversations with the city and the county trying to get solutions out there to start addressing our water quality issues, especially after the hurricane. Because, after the hurricane, we had a harmful algal bloom outbreak, or red tide, or whatever you want to call it. From the state level, I mean, that's just so big. It's hard for me to really, I don't think we're doing the best job in the state, but I think there's a lot of money that is being thrown around that we have no control over, which causes more harm to addressing our water quality issues.
Yeah. And how about locally, like in Collier County?
So I have these friends on Marco Island, Eugene, Wardyhoff, and Nanette, and I met them when I was getting going, learning about all this stuff, and with our water quality issues that we have going on right now. And I went to their presentation that they recently just had during school hours, so hard for you all to get there. But one of the most shocking things that I've found out, because they haven't stopped since the hurricane, they're continuing at this all the time. Nanette's on the board of the Conservancy, and Eugene is just like, this is his mission. And right now, the something that was so shocking during that presentation was that we have a dead zone in the middle of Collier County from all of our wastewater treatment plants throwing out phosphorus and nitrogen, which makes algal blooms happen, which causes oxygen to deplete in the water and for things to die. And we actually have a dead zone in the middle of our county right now because of it.
Wow.
I know.
That's crazy.
So it's absolutely nuts that's I didn't even realize it was that extent. I think we have about something like 9 wastewater treatment plants in the county. City of Naples and Everglades City are the only 2 that are advanced wastewater treatment plants that remove the majority of those nutrients. Now, the rest of them don't, and they're all antiquated and old technology. Even the advanced wastewater treatment plants, which the state has recommended that we switch to, are still 20-year-old. It's still 20-year-old tech. So there's new technology that can actually remove even more so that we're actually not polluting at all from our wastewater treatment plants into the water. Now, what's the slowdown to that is that all of our purple pipes that we have is our reuse water that's in our county. The purple pipes take that water that comes in through the wastewater treatment plant and keeps the phosphorus and nitrogen in that water, and that's what everything that you see watering the lawns, golf courses, the street, anything that the government owns and maintains, communities in different places. And so in Marco Island, that wastewater treatment plant is the old tech, and it just throws stuff out all the time. And with all the running of fertilizer through the purple pipes just for watering your grass, it's constant fertilizer that is going over everything right now. And it's just an excess that we don't need, and we can start to eliminate it. And that is the mission right now, because then that will help to reduce all of these water problems that we have, and hopefully bring back more of nature that we want to see. We want to see sea turtles. We want to see manatees and dolphins playing around, and right up to, in crabs. You want to look down and see the bottom of the bay, and it's not. Naples is better than Marco Island. Marco Island is worse, but the fact that we even have a dead zone in the middle of our county is just mind-blowing.
And do you see this just getting worse and worse?
It's only going to get worse unless we actually invest the money and start upgrading to all of our wastewater treatment plants. That's like step one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to cost a lot of money, but that's step one.
Yeah.
And from there, hopefully that'll just allow the water to become cleaner, so as it flows, it will be better. But imagine if every county in Florida adopted that as well. Like how much cleaner our water could be throughout the state and the country. Like this algal problem is not just here in Southwest Florida or Florida, it's everywhere across the world. Having all this
Well, you know a whole lot about this subject. How'd you acquire like all this information?
I spent like 7 months just going to meeting to meeting to meeting, and it was so intense. It was a struggle. It was really hard, and to learn about it, and I was mildly depressed, I think, for a period. And this was after the hurricane too. Everybody was so traumatized then from that, and trying to rebuild afterwards. And I had meetings with the Big Cypress Water Basin, the city, the county. I met with like 3 or 4 commissioners, 3 or 4 city council members, the mayor, Teresa Heitman, she, wants the water clean. Gary Price wants the water clean, for local politics and stuff that's occurring right now. I think everybody wants the water clean. It's just going to take some bold measures.
Some effort, right.
The county needs to communicate with the city. None of that is occurring, even though it's been initiated from the city. The county's not responding. And the county knows that all of these wastewater treatment plants need to get changed. And it's like, okay, well, how long are we going to sit here and wait?
Right. Do you think it's because just the funds are being allocated to other things, or they just don't want to invest the time and money to replace them?
I think we have the funds for the majority of it.
Yeah.
And I think if the public really got wind of just everything, they would all agree. We would all agree on something to make it happen, so that we started to address this first step of cleaning our water.
Right. Yeah.
But the funds are there, from what I understand. It's just...
It's the politicians that aren't willing to use that to change it, you think?
I don't know whose decision it is to make that call exactly, but it just needs to be made at this point, and we need to move forward and start, Everglades City, the reason why they have an advanced wastewater treatment plant is because for decades they had sewage going out of the water from their wastewater treatment plant. It was like ruptured.
That's terrible. Yeah.
And that's where you get all your stone crabs.
Exactly.
So it should be better now.
Right.
And did you just start noticing this after the hurricane or before?
So before the hurricane, I worked with Collier County Waterkeeper, and I was testing the waters for enterococci bacteria, which is just fecal matter, whether it's from nature or whichever. It's unknown where that comes from. So I would go along the beach, and I would test in the bay, and whether it was a high, moderate, or low level, I would then post it to the website, and that was kind of where I really got into the water stuff. I mean, I've always loved nature and the sea creatures anyway, hence being a mermaid. But I've always been afraid to really like go in and talk about it a lot, because it's not my background, but I have learned a lot just by experiencing, volunteering, trying, and keeping up with it when I can.
Yeah.
Have you yourself considered like running for an office to make some change yourself?
Yes, I have actually. I'm thinking of like city council, maybe.
You should,
Yeah,
honestly.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all that knowledge that you have of it, be very.
I'm
good
just so
marketing.
water focused though,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Right. Yeah.
everything else I'm like whatever.
It would be a
But-
shame if you had to leave all that to.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could ever just stop being a mermaid and doing my shows and spreading mermaid magic
Yeah.
out there. So that's
Exactly.
always going to happen. But city council is funny. I ran into Rick Scott and I was talking to him. I'm like, can we please talk about the water? And then he was like, you should run for local office. And I was like, what can I do? And he's like, you'll be there. So that's all that matters. If you're there and your voice and you're active, like that's what's most important. I'm like, okay. So I've thrown it around to a couple different people too. So, but it's not going to happen this time. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we'll see. Yeah. I do
And-
have the book, Sea Shelley, Mermaid, and President. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Check that out.
Yeah, check that out, Lobby Rats.
Yeah.
And how many meetings did you really attend to, become knowledgeable of all this, everything that's happening with the water quality?
I had meetings with the people that have solutions to our water quality issues. I had meetings with like I said, the politicians and natural resources departments. I don't know how many meetings. It was at least like 3 a week, almost for like 7 months. And then just private residences and people that knew. And then the Army Corps of Engineers came into town. And then that's like 2 or 3 meetings in a week just to like keep up with that and see what's going on. I went to city council and the commissioner meetings just to speak on public record as well, to bring attention to it and try to get them to be more, to make more decisions with it. But I think everybody's just so set in their way of doing their job, just what they do when they come in, and it's hard to get them to really, or get anybody to really change and go after that unless you have someone that's like, this is what we're going to do now.
Yeah.
True,
And
yeah.
I don't think that's how government really works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And are you aware with we had this on a previous podcast about the Army Corps engineers, what their
Offshore
plan
Naples.
is? Yeah, we had a podcast with Offshore Naples. He mentioned that they're making they propose like a chain block system to get out into the Gulf of Mexico, like a dam kind of.
Yeah, that's really stupid. This scary thing about the Army Corps of Engineers, number one, they're in charge of Lake Okeechobee. And you have had scientists and naturalists and people talking about Lake Okeechobee for over 40 years now about how bad it is. And here we are. And they are still, they discharge every February. And we have an algal bloom every February, March. Sometimes it lasts through April. They don't discharge, then we're okay for a little while. But the Army Corps of Engineers, in each like disaster area around the state, they're literally going and they're trying to go around the entire state of Florida and have their whatever it is that they're doing around the state. They know about, not only like are they trying to propose all these different things, they're also trying to find out where our vulnerabilities are in our town. And so they can either eminent domain the land or do something where they're like taking land from us or like these block things.
Yeah.
And then you look at like Miami, where they built some kind of thing and ruined coral reefs.
Yeah.
Completely destroyed coral reefs that were needed, that fishermen use and that we need to help keep our oceans clean. We're already having bleaching issues. We don't need something to come in and just purposefully destroy more reef area.
Yeah,
It's just,
they're planning to destroy the mangroves in Naples if they want to. I mean, if it ever got approved, which I highly doubt it will be. But, I mean, obviously destroying a lot of wildlife, which really seems unnecessary.
and the areas that had the mangroves were the areas that did the best after the hurricane.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Another interesting fact was that all of our, the plant life along the beaches, we need that biodiversity on our beaches to help with erosion and everything. And after the hurricanes, so much of it was wiped out. We all realized, when I say we all, the botanical garden realized that we don't even grow those plants. So they've started nurseries now to grow those types of beach plants because we never had anything like that.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
That's crazy. All that growth is just artificial. Not artificial,
no, it was
but
natural.
Yeah.
It's,
But
it's put there.
We hadn't had a storm that took out that much vegetation.
Yeah. But I
and-
mean, it's the natural cycle. Again, maybe would you prefer that nature just let it take its course and then everything goes back naturally, or we just focus on our stuff?
Oh, I think that humans can play a role to help nature faster get back to its more natural state. We do enough to destroy it. We can help it too.
Yeah.
And we can just be better at that,
Yeah.
It's like Port Royal was built upon mangroves. And
Right.
we're not getting rid of Port Royal, but that was the lungs of Naples Bay that helped clean the water. And then you have the, I forget what canal it is, Golden Gate Canal that comes in, which
Oh, that is
a whole other podcast in
Golden Gate
itself.
Canal.
That canal
Jeez, yeah.
basically is
Fishless.
well, it's fishless because it can't, and all that water just goes into the bay, and it's the fresh water into the salt water, and it just messes up the whole ecosystem in there, and it's just continuing down farther and farther. And there was, with one year with Collier County Waterkeeper, I did a PFAS test. You know about the PFAS, the plastic, microplastics?
Like from what?
Yeah, would you explain that a little bit for the viewers?
I know, but I'm I'm not a scientist.
Oh, yeah.
I will do my best. The PFAS it's like the microplastics that are in everything. So it's, they're finding PFAS in meat and in the human body now. It's in oysters. Like oysters are, they collect. They clean the water, so you can find it in all those things, and then we eat the oysters. It's a filtration system, basically, the oysters. But the PFAS are microplastics. Now, it's not good for the environment because it's plastic, and it's so small that creatures are eating them. We have no idea what repercussions that's going to create down the road. And it's in all sorts of materials and different things. But I took a test in the canal. I took a test, and then I took a test at, we had to do, it was a huge Waterkeeper Alliance program. So waterkeepers from all across the United States did this test in different areas, and you could see which regions or which areas had higher levels or lower levels, or how the water looked as a bigger view.
Yeah.
And there are a lot. I don't remember exactly the stats on it, but I think you can look it up on the Waterkeeper's website, Collier County Waterkeeper's website, or the Waterkeeper Alliance website. But it's disturbing how much microplastic is in that water, and that's coming down through the canal and is now in the bay. The fish can eat it. You don't know. We just don't. There's not enough studies done to really know what is it, but just plastic is everywhere at this point.
How do you spell it? I'm sorry.
PFAS. PFAS.
Okay. So talk to us about the big shell you got there.
Oh,
Where'd you get that?
it's my conch shell.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's pretty loud. Did you find that in this area?
I got it in the Keys.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's
To all my mermaid followers out there, I found it in the Florida Keys in the water, but I really just got it at a store, and it's the best one that I've seen out there. And I think I got it about 25 years ago, so I've had it for a really long time, and now I incorporate it into my shows. Next week in Key West is they actually have a conch shell blowing contest.
Oh, are you going? Are you
So
planning
I think I'm
to?
going to go down and
have the loudest one there?
I don't know about the loudest. There's people that can play songs on their conch shell horn. So I'm like, I kind of want to go and meet these people just
Yeah.
just for some
interesting.
tips, and I'm gonna enter in for the longest breath, like of blowing the conch shell horn. How long you can do it? That's gonna be my. That's what I'm
Only
gonna
a free
enter
diver.
in.
I mean, it should be easy.
I know, but there's like, I mean, I know it's such a random thing, and I just started doing it for fun, and it's incorporated into everything that I do, but there's a small group of conch shell blowers. I don't even know what the term is.
Does it take
for
practice?
It probably sounds bad. It did. Took me a little while to get it, yeah. But it's not any different than like a trumpet, blowing it.
Yeah.
Playing a trumpet. So.
Oh. Well, can you talk to us about back to the Mermaid?
Yes.
So can you tell us, so you're a mermaid and you go to resorts. Can you tell us what you do when you get to the resort and how you connect with the kids?
So I play the conch shell horn, and that normally calls them in.
Right.
So I used to, I get rolled out because obviously I can't walk, and I sit on the edge of the pool. I'll take pictures, but I blow my conch shell horn, and I have the kids count, and then everybody's like, when I reach 40 seconds or whatever it is, and they're all like, wow, like so cool. And then I have them recite my poem called Be Good and engage with them that way, and then sing a song, talk about fish bumps, and I do like, instead of fist bumps, I do fish bumps, and then I go from there and take pictures, and then go into everything else, swimming, and I teach them about seashells, so I have a big poster that I laminated so it can be in the water, and I have my shell collection that I bring out and to get the kids to learn about the seashells that they find on the beach, and that's really fun.
And about seashells, I'm curious to know, like, how are they formed, and like, what do you know about like
Again, I'm not a
Naples
scientist.
yeah. Well, the best you know, right?
They have egg casings. So they lay eggs, basically. And in that are like hundreds of little baby seashells. And they
They
it's
grow.
where our sand comes from, basically. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they grow. And the ones that live, and then shells eat each other, and then then you find shells on the beach.
And how come some beaches accumulate more shells than others? Like, for example, like Tiger Tail Beach has a ton of shells, or Sanibel as well. Like, almost the whole beach is just covered in shells.
I think that has more to do with the tide
The
and how
tides.
everything works. I don't know all of that specifically, but there's a book that I was reading, continuously reading because I don't read that often, talking about old Florida history, and like our shell mounds of the oyster shells that you can see along in Naples Bay, kind of when you're like getting ready to leave, you have all those
The shoals.
the shells. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are all like Calusa shell mounds from way back in the day, and they were moved around a little bit. But the history on like Naples Bay and how they used to fish in it, and different places, it's really worth looking into. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have it all memorized, but it's fascinating when you're like, wow, like they did all of that, but those are all those like oyster shells along the banks there are original shell mounds from who knows how long ago. It's pretty neat.
Oh yeah. And what is your opinion on just the fact that Naples or anywhere in Florida is going to be underwater soon? What do you feel about just erosion and all that in general?
Are we really going to be underwater? Is it sand displacement? Like, did they put the sand back where it came from after the storm? All of our, if you look at the dome homes, that's a natural occurring thing of the shifting of the sands and the changing of the beaches. Concrete's the only thing that makes something stay in place. So if you just keep concrete there, is it really, like, that's nature is ever changing along our beach lines.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll be underwater maybe at some point, certain areas because of development, but I don't know how I feel about the big picture of all the environmental stuff that's going on right now. It's very complex, and I think we have more of a pollution problem than we have a rising water problem.
Yeah.
That's
And maybe they're connected in a way too, that if one of them is fixed, the other problem lessens in severity.
correct.
Yeah.
I really think so. And yeah, the stuff that's going on of what mainstream media wants you to hear about the climate issues, I think that there's other solutions to address pollution that will help reduce the severity of what is occurring. But I mean, it's very complicated.
Yeah. And about your the entrepreneurship aspect, how many businesses do you own?
So I just have the one
You just have that one.
right now. My first business that I started was I had a raw vegan food business where I made raw vegan sushi, and I did detox and cleanses with people.
Nice.
So that's my little side passion that I still do, like out of home and whatnot. But
That's great.
that was my first one, and then the Mermaid business. And then I always have ideas, and I need to get better at my social media because I want to do more of these talks and different things to get more attention and awareness raised out there,
Exactly.
to get more people involved and inspire them to be like, okay, I'll show up, I'll do this. What do we need to do? Let's get it done.
Did you need very much money to get started? Doing like mermaiding?
I've
things
done
like
it slowly by myself.
that?
So, yeah, it would probably be. I mean, mermaiding is not inexpensive. I've gone to different courses to see what the market's doing, see what other people are doing, to then apply it. I've gotten free diving. Tails run from, I started with a little $100 fabric tail and just started doing the small stuff. But, tails, the silicone tails run easily from $1,000 on the very low end to
Wow.
$5,000, $8,000, $10,000 on the high end.
That's
Are they heavy?
Sometimes, yeah, a little bit. The silicone ones are definitely heavier.
Yeah.
And then one of the ones that I'm using right now is a fabric tail, and it has a monofin in it, and that monofin is very heavy, but it's like an industrial monofin. So I have monofins, I have plastic fins, monofins, I have fabric tails, I have the silicone tail. I need to get I have another silicone monofin. Like, it's just, because I don't know which one's the best one to use, and people just do like, oh, let me do my tail unboxing, and it's like, who cares?
Well, does
the nitty-gritty.
Does it take a lot to maintain them? I mean, because you always go in the salt water, you go to the pool water. Do you always have to
Yeah.
wash them down and clean them? And
Yeah, so like my prep and my prep and then my finish is way beyond what I do in a show. So it's also cleaning up everything, putting it in my tub and getting the chlorine off and drying it and putting it away and then getting it ready again for something else.
Yeah.
So, and then I have my rental tails for the kids that when I do my my course. So there's that too. And then an underwater camera case.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then
That's
there's that.
that's very useful.
Yeah.
And you use like GoPros and things like that?
I use a Sea Life camera case for my iPhone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah,
So
'cause
I
the
can just
iPhone's
it's so much easier just to put my phone in there
Yeah.
and then
Oh.
have it right on my phone and just
It's great quality.
do
too.
everything.
Yeah.
So that's what I have, and that was so when I do my course, I take pictures of the kids underwater too. So I teach them how to pose and like do all sorts of stuff.
Oh.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You guys should come and do a mermaid class.
I'd
with
love
me.
to. Yeah.
Excuse me, merman.
Merman. Do you have a lot of mermans?
Get some friends and like we could do it. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did it at Naples Bay Resort, and the boys absolutely loved it. They had a blast. They were like, "Take a picture of me," and I'm like, "Okay." So like it's fun and it's fitness. Like it doesn't need to be all feminine or girly.
Yeah.
Like it's
Right.
it's a fitness thing, and it's pretty cool. Like it's just a lot of fun to.
Because it's the same motion as like swimmers do, like a butterfly stroke, right?
Yeah. Except you're really not using your arms.
Yeah,
you're
or like
using-
kind of what I meant to say is like the beginning of like a
Yeah, it's the
Olympic
butterfly,
pool.
like the butterfly kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they push off the wall. But anyway,
Yeah.
how long did it take you to like perfect that motion to be able to move so fast underwater?
Well, I was born a mermaid, so
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
I don't. It's just practice. You just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm doing my shows, I do have Mermagic sparkle dust that I put on the kids. It's just sand from all over the world and sparkles.
Oh, wow.
And I tell them at that time that do they know how to use their imagination? Because I think it's very important to be stating that, like, we are using our imaginations right now while in the pool and having fun being
Right.
mermaids or dreaming that we can become mermaids one day. And that's why I'm as real as you'll ever meet for a mermaid. But they use your imaginations, and you can have the world as your oyster.
Yeah. So you always give the kids a really good. You tell them a lot of positive things which they can live by, but obviously in the social media world, people are always on TikTok. What do you feel about? I mean, people under 18 and obviously like kids in elementary, middle school being on social media. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I wasn't on social media because when I was in high school and below, it never existed. So I don't know. I think kids right now, it's hard for them to because everything's such an instant gratification with your phone and what you can do. I don't know. I kind of think people are getting away from that calm and doing something that is more, I don't want to say old-fashioned. I like to say that I'm providing experiences for people to have something to remember and a keepsake. And I feel like with instant gratification, social medias, and all these different things, it kind of eliminates those experiences a little bit. And so that's kind of my feeling lightly on the situation right now. But I'm not even on TikTok. I should get on TikTok,
Yeah, you should.
but I am not on TikTok yet. Add another social media thing to all the things that I need to do. It's like...
It gets overloading for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are trying to do it. How's that working for you? Are you on everything?
We are on almost everything. We're
Yeah.
not on Snapchat yet, but
Okay.
soon to be.
Soon.
Cut.
Right, you gotta do like the noise.
Oh, you have to do the
It's
noise.
There
we go, and we're back, everybody. So we were talking about Snapchat, and Snapchat is the same as it can be the same as TikTok. Just swipe up. So
okay.
it's just like swipe, all the
So
little
it's
shorts.
changed a little bit.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the long videos don't get as popular anymore. They do get popular, but not as popular as just the little 30-second shorts, which
I think
people.
like YouTube is more for long videos and stuff.
Yeah.
and going
Yeah.
and watching all of those types of things.
Exactly, and YouTube also has shorts now.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
they people have a short, like, people think not a lot when they're just scrolling aimlessly. So you have to. I mean, if you saw a mermaid on their phone, I think I'd stay.
Capture your
and
attention.
It captured my attention.
Yeah, because you don't really. I've never really seen a mermaid while scrolling on reels. Never.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be a good.
Well, once you start, then it'll all sorts of stuff will pop up, and you're gonna be like, "There's mermaids all over the place."
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's lots
'Cause
of mermaids out there.
It's personalized, right?
Yeah.
As you know, yeah. So do you utilize like Instagram for your business?
I do have it, yes.
Okay.
My handle is _ Sea Shelley _ So it's and I haven't posted lately. I've been like taking some time off and just trying to figure out how I'm gonna really, because when I go again, it's gonna be I'm really gonna be showcasing, talking about water quality. Just being much more interactive and using it the way you're supposed to. Before I've just been like, here's a picture, here's a video, here's a reel, and it's just kind of, that doesn't really work. You gotta really work at it. And I think if I work at it, create little videos, do different things, put it up on YouTube, really start to like go after like getting better at it, then I'll be okay. But I'm gonna hire someone to help me.
Are you thinking about, I mean, expanding the mermaid business and having other mermaids help you out?
Yes. So I have you know her, right? Sophia. She's a mermaid with me, and she's been watching my shows for quite a while, assisting. She's a lifeguard as well, so which is just super nice to have someone that understands water safety at the pools. Yeah. So Sophia's been helping me, and if I get enough resort work and parties and events and things, and I need to go out of town, like I want her to come in and do more. Or,
that's awesome.
Teach the certification program, which she could very easily do. And then there's someone else too. So if you're interested in looking to have some fun and work with kids and do something a little different, I'd love to meet you. Reach out. Reach out. Come talk to me here locally. But I've talked to mermaids. I've met mermaids in different areas, and they've asked for advice, and I've given them advice and help on how to do a little show or something that maybe that's new to them. So yeah, I'm always looking to expand. It's just the struggle of life and then expanding.
Yeah.
And getting people to, it's still hard to tell people about mermaid experiences and shows and programs, and it's still not fully understood what it is that, like, what we really provide, even though I know what it is. It's just, it's hard to get into places sometimes and convince them. So not convince them, but just get them inspired and ready to go.
Do you feel you're playing a big part or influencing enough to help it become something more accepted, maybe by venues and things like that?
Yes, I think so. I just want to build relationships. I want to do a good job. I want parents, kids, whoever's in charge of the resort, or family member, whichever. I want them to be happy, and I want to always do a good job. If something weird happens, I'm always like, ah. But when kids call you fake, sometimes it's like, how long am I going to put up with that?
how many times have you had to put up with kids calling you fake? And
that's funny. It happens every now and then, and they don't stop. And that's where I bring in the imagination thing again. And lately, my newest thing is I'll look at them and I'll be like, I'm sorry, you must have missed the beginning of my show. We're using our imaginations today. Are you going to use yours, or do you want to go somewhere else? Like, what else am I going to say? If the parents aren't around to be like, hey, get away, leave them alone. And you just don't.
You're not allowed to snap at them.
I'm not allowed to snap at them. I can't hit them with my tail. I've been splashed on, just the silly stuff. Kids are kids, and it's not. It's more or less, I don't want it to ruin the rest of the experience for all the other little kids that are there that are just like, oh my God, this is so cool, and they're just having a lot of fun and enjoying it. And who needs a faker out there?
Yeah.
Do you think that's like a nature nurture thing for the kids, or it's just generational maybe?
I think I think that would happen in any generation.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's just kids being kids.
That's just kids being kids, and they want to be right. They want to know that you're not real, and so it's like, how do you keep that mermaid magic alive? And that's why I use imagination now. Like, that's my key takeaway is because I don't want to ruin mermaid magic, and I really, mermaiding is kind of just a lifestyle of enjoying the water, finding peace with the water, wanting to talk about the water, wanting to help the water, and that's So however you can use that to inspire others to get more involved, that's how I view mermaiding as.
Well, if I could ask anyone, I'd probably ask you, what's the difference between a mermaid and a siren?
So I say that mermaids lure men to the sea and sirens send them to the depths.
Mm.
So you want to watch out for those sirens.
Yeah.
Does a siren look the same as a mermaid? I've never heard of that.
I don't know. The sirens would sing songs and lure ships to the rocks,
Oh.
and then
And the ships
would
would
crash and
sink.
men would die.
Yeah.
So that was what sirens. That's what sirens did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your plans for the future now, with not only with your business but with mermaiding and like places around here? Like, for example, you've done the mermaid show at Naples Botanical Garden, right?
Naples
Naples
Bay-
Bay Resort.
Naples Bay Resort.
Yep.
And you've done it at the zoo or not yet? Or?
Haven't been to the zoo yet. I tried
That'd
reaching
be-
them out to them a few years back, and it was empty. So I just kind of let it go. And I want to get into Naples Grand.
Oh.
Naples Grand.
Naples
yeah.
Grand and the Ritz Carlton.
Yep.
So the beach.
The beach. Oh.
Yeah, those are the two.
Mhm.
So that's what I like. I'd like to do something. I could even go to any like a resort that is for mostly adults too, or Edgewater. I don't know if Edgewater is mostly adults or if there's kids that stay there. I'm
There's
sure
kids,
there's families. But to just do my fitness program there
Mhm.
and have someone do something a little different. And
Exact-
my fitness program isn't just swimming in the pool with a monofin. It's breath work. It's yoga. It's stretching.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to it. And then it can be an intense water workout if you want, but it's really just like a relaxing, open up, breathe right, and kind of just it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable
Yeah.
experience.
Do you
What-
do you feel it's more workout or more, as you said, enjoy, like more relaxing when you have the fin?
Well, I like to stretch,
Mhm.
and a lot of people don't stretch anymore. So really, stretching is kind of hard for some people. So to me, it's enjoyable, but others it might not be.
Yeah.
The breath work is just a new way of, not a new way, it's old, but it's just a way to get oxygen into your body and to think clear and to reduce stress. So that's a different form. It's not necessarily working out, it's working out your lungs, which helps you to hold your breath longer. And then when the fitness in the pool is just, it's kind of fun. Once you put the fin on and you just start swimming around, you can do whatever you want. It's not meant to be really anything, but some people struggle with it, some people don't. It's kind of just what kind of experience you want to have with it.
Yep. Darn, just the question just disappeared from my mind. But
What's the longest distance you ever went with like a fin? Do you usually like go on laps on the beach or anything like that?
No.
No.
I avoid. Well, I mean, I avoid. I haven't. I've just been diving kind of underwater. That's all I've done really recently.
Mm-hmm.
I can hold my breath for 2.5 minutes though.
Wow.
it's a long time.
That's
Yes.
very long.
What's the world record? Like,
World record is 24 minutes.
how's that possible? Jeez.
Breath work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Lot
breath
of
That's
work.
ridiculous.
You
I
you
mean,
think about it. You're exercising your lungs. We just breathe automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And until you realize, like, breathing, we don't even think about it. So when you hold your breath, you're learning to relax your mind and know that your body has enough oxygen in it to last longer than you think it can. So it's just when you do breathing exercises, it helps to just exercise your lungs so you have more control over your lungs and then your brain, and then allows you to hold your breath longer.
mhm.
Wow.
And do you continuously train your lungs, not through like just mermaiding, but do you also like do like specific exercises or breathing exercises?
I do not.
No?
That's something I should do more of, but
Yeah.
I haven't done much of it lately. I do want to get my level 2 free diving, so I can go down to, I think it's 33 feet is level 1, is where you have to reach. Level 2 is 66. So when I'm getting ready to do that level 2, I'll probably up just some techniques and do a little bit more before I go and actually get certified for the level 2. And then that'll help me just move forward and be better at practicing that exercise and finding some more people that maybe want to go free diving, and where we can do that here on this coast, which is very difficult, or going over to a different location.
Well, it should be hard here because you can't really see in these kind of waters.
Let me tell you, one time I took my camera down 23 feet or something, and my hand hit the bottom because I could not see in front of me. Oh. And I took one dive down, and I came back up, and I said, I'm done.
That's kind of scary.
I can't see anything. Yeah, it was scary. Because I don't know what hammerhead sharks out there.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. And I mean, South Florida's kind of, or this part of South Florida, the West, isn't really known for like much shark attacks, but I imagine as far out as you may go for like free diving, it's definitely present. You know?
Yeah. And we used to have giant, what is it, whale? We have the whale sharks that come by here, and giant manta rays. Oh. Wouldn't it be so amazing if we could figure out their migration technique, like patterns, and like help those waters or do what's needed to get those big creatures back to our backyard in the Gulf of Mexico?
Yeah.
I think that would be amazing.
That would be great.
I think with offshore, I think he saw a whale shark out there one day.
He did?
Yeah.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he might have said it on the podcast, I think. Whale shark, yeah. But it's very far out.
It is very far out. It's not literally the backyard.
Yeah.
It's you have to boat out. But
relatively close.
I've seen a hammerhead shark though from the right outside the pass. So I mean I have seen that in the area. So that's why I bring that up, because I'm like, I don't want to see that hammerhead shark when I'm underwater. Yeah.
No, not at all. And so did you get so you got all your certifications when you first moved, or did it take a while when you first moved to Naples? Oh
no, when I started mermaiding, I didn't have any certifications. I did the certifications just to see what the direction of the business is moving. So like PADI, SSI, SDI, I think they have their own mermaid programs out there. Mm-hmm. And so I got my lifeguard my first certification I ever got was the lifeguard certification. And then after that, I was like, oh, look how important this is, especially with being in the pool and kids around and parents drinking champagne. Yeah. So I that lifeguard, and then I did a combo retreat of my level 1 free dive and the mermaid certification. And the mermaid certification was kind of silly because I'd been mermaiding for already 6 years, and the people that created that program have been mermaiding for as long as I have. So it's kind of silly, but there's a lot of techniques that I still need to learn, especially with like posing underwater, to do more of this stuff like on TikTok and social media, just to have content to throw out there. There's a lot more that I need to do to raise that kind of attention. So I'll get there. But
what can you say was the funniest story you had in your whole entire career of being a mermaid? Or the best story?
I don't know. I'm sure, like, I can't think of it right now, but I'm sure there's a good one out
there. You have like many things that happen to you.
I know. I've had kids say the craziest things to me, and I should have written them down because I thought it would be a really fun comedy routine one day. Oh, yeah. Where I could start talking. I'll probably remember after the podcast some funny story and be like, oh my God, let me tell you now. But I can't think of anything right off the top of my head for that. But there's been some funny interactions, and interactions between adults too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, what would be one piece of advice you give to anyone who wants to be successful in life?
All right.
I think that you should always follow your passion and just slowly work at it. And don't expect success overnight. I'm sure that was what somebody told me, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna get that. And it's like, it doesn't happen that way, or it can, but I just find something that you are passionate about, even if it's not, like, mermaiding is not a full-time job. It's still a part-time job. Now, it can be a full-time job if I was to get everything set up properly, and my social media and YouTube, and get things like really, really, really moving, and somehow make passive income. And then mermaiding is manageable.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's having to balance sometimes between the real life stuff and then the fun things, and to just always keep going at it. And it's going to be up and down, but as long as you just keep at it and you have good support, like having people around you that support you is so important. So just have that good support system, people that believe in you, and just keep going. Like, that's basically all you can do.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's great talking to you. Do you
It's
want
great
to
talking
you want to shout out yourself on the camera to the Lobby Rats viewers?
Shout out, like
Shout out.
Like
So-
your social media and your business. And,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sea Shelley. You can go to my website. It's www.sea-shelley.com, and that's spelled SEA-SHELLEY.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find that all through Sea Shelley or Sea Shelley Mermaid, and it's that easy. You can email me. It's on my website. Website's probably easiest, but yeah, if you want to become a mermaid, or you're interested, or you know, want to do something or look in this direction, or are interested in water quality and want to know how you can help out with that, that's a good thing too. So
It's great talking to you.
call
Thank
me
you.
on my cell phone.